everybody, and thank you for tuning in to Nizzy Sports Chat. I am your host, Nizzy, and in this video, you guys, we're going to be going with our Week 5 NFL game picks. Got an awesome game Thursday night football coming up tonight, you guys, with the Rams and the Seahawks. Should be an eventful game, to say the least. Got the powerhouse NFC West going at it here on Thursday night football, you guys. Got another good slate of games on Sunday. We're going to go ahead and break down each matchup and select our winner of each matchup in this video, you guys. Right real quick before we go ahead and get started, if you can go ahead and like this video if you like sporting content like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. Been getting a lot of support lately, you guys, and I greatly appreciate it. It means a lot to me, man. We're going to keep coming out with as much content as possible for you guys. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start breaking down these matchups heading into Week 5, starting with Thursday night football, the Rams versus the Seahawks. Now, this is going to be a good battle, you guys. Obviously, the Seahawks are at 2-2 right now. The Rams are 3-1. This is going to be a pivotal game for both teams. Obviously, the Rams losing to the Cardinals last week. They're going to be hungry for a dub. The Seahawks are going to want to try and stay above 500, so they're going to be hungry for a dub as well. Obviously, they're playing at home in Seattle. Last time they were there, they had that unfortunate loss to the Tennessee Titans in overtime. So I'm sure they're going to be scrapping and chomping at the bit for their first victory of the season at home. So it's going to be a good one, man. It's going to be an absolute slugfest on Thursday night here. I do think that Seattle's going to be able to hang on for the victory here, get their first home win of the season, and push both teams to 3-2. I think the final score will be 31-28 for Seattle. Then heading over to the Sunday early games, you guys, starting off with our Packers first. I'm a Packers fan. They got a nice matchup against the Bengals here this weekend. You know, this is another one of those possible trap games for the Packers. I thought last week against the Steelers could have been a trap game. This one I feel like could be the same, especially since we're on the road playing in Cincinnati here. Obviously, the Bengals have looked a lot better than I think a lot of us expected this season, starting out 3-1 record to start the year. Joe Burrow's looking nice coming off of his surgery there. He's looking like he's getting back into a good rhythm, driving the ball down late in the fourth quarter to take the win over the Jacksonville Jaguars on Thursday Night Football last week. Should be a good matchup here. I think it's going to be a pretty close one, but I do think the Packers will be able to hang on for the victory with a 30-24 win over the Cincinnati Bengals. And then the next game in the slot, we got the Jets versus the Falcons, you guys. This one's an early game. I think it starts like 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. They're playing out in London, I believe. So this is going to be kind of a 50-50 ball game here. Obviously, the Jets are coming off a big win last week against the Titans in overtime. Falcons fell apart last minute there against Washington. Ended up losing that game on their home field last week. So two teams that are going to be scrapping for a W here. I like the confidence I seen from the Jets last week and being able to take down the Titans. We can see Zach Wilson is starting to improve, get into a better rhythm within that offense there. I think they're going to be able to continue on their little streak here. Obviously, Robert Saleh's got that defense playing really well right now. Obviously, he's a defensive-minded head coach, so no surprise there, but I think the Jets are going to be able to outmatch the Falcons just barely in this one, you guys. I think that Jets defense is going to be stout enough to be able to hold them down and allow the Jets to get the W here. So I think final score for that will be 24-21 for the Jets. Then we got Saints versus Washington, you guys. Now this one I think will be a bounce-back game for the Saints. Obviously, they've been hit and miss this year. It's kind of been one big win, then a big-time loss, then another big-time win, then a big-time loss. So they're due for their big-time win now, you guys, especially against a Washington team that's kind of had a iffy defense. We thought their defense was going to be one of the best in the league this year. Obviously, you got guys like Chase Young rushing from the edge. They got a pretty good secondary as well. But they just haven't been producing on the field so far this season. Washington's defense has had a lot of holes in it so far. Chase Young has 0 sacks so far on the season. I think he's only got 2 quarterback hits as well, so he just has not been able to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback so far this year. And for that reason, I think that the Saints are going to be able to outscore Washington football team. I think that final score will be 31-21 for the Saints. And we got the Lions versus the Vikings, a little divisional matchup here, you guys. I mean, this one's pretty much easy said and done here. I'm taking the Vikings all the way in this one. They're getting on they had a rough game last week against Cleveland, only putting up 7 points. I expect them to have a big-time bounce back against the Lions. The Lions have been in shambles here. You know, they've been close in a couple games, but for the most part, they've just not really had a chance for the wins. And I think it's just going to be an easy win for the Vikings this week, and they're going to need that bounce back, especially after losing a tough one to Cleveland last week by a score of 14-7. So I got the Vikings taking this one 35-21. And we got the Broncos versus the Steelers, you guys. This one's going to be A tough one to decide on as well. Obviously, the Broncos had a rough go against the Ravens last week. Steelers are 1-3 on the season, 3 straight losses, losing to the Packers last week, 27-17. Big Ben's looking like he's damn near ready for retirement, missing so many throws, easy throws too inside the pocket. He missed a couple deep balls to Juju Smith-Schuster for touchdowns last week against my Packers. There, you guys. I do think they're going to bounce back this week, though, against the Broncos. I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater is going to be playing. He ended up going in a concussion protocol last week after that hit. So who knows if he's going to be able to be available. He's questionable right now to play this Sunday against the Steelers, and it is on the Steelers' home field there. So I think they're going to have a bounce back here. I don't think they're going to score a crazy amount, but I do think they're going to be able to outmatch the Broncos, that final score being 24-17 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we got the Titans versus the Jaguars, you guys. Holy, talk about some controversy going on with the Jags this week with that whole debacle going on with Urban Meyer. Absolutely hilarious, you guys. First-year head coach, and he's making big-time mistakes like that, not getting on the flight with his team, getting caught with some undisclosed footage, basically, that probably he didn't want to get out to the world there. But, hey, we live in a day and age where everyone's got a camera in their pocket, so you got to be careful and on your toes at all times. I think that's going to be a major distraction for the Jaguars this weekend. And they got the wrong team to play to try and get their first victory of the season. And the Titans, obviously, the Titans are going to be chomping at the bit after an absolute embarrassing loss to the Jets last week. Obviously, they had the 2-star wide receivers out in Julio Jones and A.J. Brown, but that's no excuse when you're playing a team like the Jets. They should have still been able to take that game. So they're going to be coming in angry and pissed off against this Jaguars team. And then who knows how they're working internally right now in that Jags organization with the debacle with Urban Meyer going on behind the scenes there, and who knows how motivated and how ready the team's going to be for Sunday football here. So I'm going Titans with an easy win here, you guys. 33-17, the final for the Titans. Then we got the Eagles versus the Panthers. Now this one, I think the Panthers are going to get a nice bounce back game after losing to Dallas last week in a bit of a rough one. Dallas was able to just move the ball at will on them. I think they ended up losing 36-28 was the final score. So I expect a bounce back from their defense. I think their defense is going to be a little bit better this week comparatively. Obviously, they got an easier matchup in the Eagles and Jalen Hurts there. So we'll have to see how that game goes, but I do think the Panthers will be able to hang on. Obviously, they ended up trading for Stephon Gilmore this week as well from the Patriots. I'm not sure. I believe he's still on the PUP list, so I don't think he's going to be available to play this weekend. But nonetheless, I do think the Panthers have the better squad here. They'll be able to bounce back for a 27-14 victory over the Eagles. Then we got the Dolphins versus the Bucs, you guys. I mean, there's pretty much no chance for the Dolphins, in my opinion, on this one, especially with Tua being out. They were not looking too good there with Jacoby Brissett being the number one quarterback right now for them. And the Bucs are just on a roll here. Obviously, they had a big win against the Patriots. It ended up being a lot closer of a game than they expected. Obviously, that secondary is in a bit of shambles here, but I don't think that's going to be too big of an issue for them. Going against the Dolphins, they don't have that great of an offense going on right now with Jacoby Brissett there. So I think the Bucs will be able to take this one pretty handily by a final score of 30-17. Then we got the Patriots and the Texans, you guys. I think the Patriots will be able to get back on track this week. Obviously, Tyrod Taylor's still out with injury, I believe. So we got the rookie quarterback in for the Texans. Rough go for him last week and rough go for the Texans last week. I think they lost like 43-0 or 41-0 against the Bills. So they're going to be hungry to try and get some points on the board, but against that stout Patriots defense, the Patriots offense seems to be rolling a little bit better with Mac Jones this year. And he's just going to continue to progress and get better. So I do think they're going to be able to handle this game against the Texans by a final score of 24-14 for the Patriots. Then we got our afternoon games here, you guys. Right real quick before we get into the afternoon games, I forgot to mention my records from last week and my overall record. So last week in week 4, we ended up having a 10-6 record. And then overall, so far in our game picks through the first 4 weeks, you guys, we got a 37-24 overall record. So not too shabby, to be honest with you, on the season. We're 13 games above 500. Hopefully this week we can continue that stretch of above 500 picks. So once again, we'll get into the afternoon games here. I just thought I'd give a quick update on the overall so far, you guys. We're doing pretty decent so far this season. To start off the afternoon games, we've got the Browns versus the Chargers. Now this is going to be a sick matchup. I think this is going to be one of the games of the week, you guys. Obviously, the Browns need to come in and put up some points. Baker Mayfield's looked a little shaky so far this season. Hasn't really been playing at a high caliber right now. They're going to need him to step up big time, especially against this Chargers team with a defense that looks completely renewed and refreshed, being fully healthy this year. And obviously their new head coach, Brandon Staley, who is a defensive mastermind, has really got them playing at a really high level right now. And then on the other side of the ball, you got Justin Herbert, who's just been an absolute mismatch out there. Just looking like one of the better quarterbacks in the league right now, probably a top 10 QB already in his second season, maybe even a top 5. But he's been super impressive. That offensive line has been stout with guys like Corey Linsley added to the squad in the offseason there. The Browns' defense has been outstanding the last couple weeks, only allowing 13 points. You just need to see a little more juice out of that offense. Obviously, they got a mean running back tandem and a great run game. The Browns do, but they got to get that passing game going. Hopefully, Odell can break out a little bit here and get that Baker to Odell connection going strong. But I don't think it's going to be enough, unfortunately, to beat the Chargers this week. I think it's going to be a tough, close game, but I do think the Chargers are going to come out on top by a final score of 28-24. Then we got the Bears versus the Raiders, you guys. This should be another good game. Obviously, the Raiders getting beat pretty easily by the Chargers in Monday Night Football, 28-14 last week. The Bears are coming off of a victory over, I believe it was the Lions last weekend. So they're going to be coming in hungry for another Vic. Obviously, we got Justin Fields just got named the starter going forward now for the Bears, so the pressure's off his shoulders to try and hold down that starting job. He's just going to be able to go in there and do what he does. Hopefully, Matt Nagy designs a game plan built around him instead of just forcing him to just stay inside the pocket the entire time. But I do think the Raiders are going to be able to hang on. I think their defense is improved this year comparatively to years past. They got a little bit better of a pass rush this year. So I think they're going to be able to wreak a little havoc in that backfield, maybe get a few sacks on Justin Fields there. Obviously, that offensive line for the Bears isn't very good. So I'm going to take the Raiders by a score of 27-21 in this game. Then we got the 49ers versus the Cardinals. I think this is going to be a great matchup again, you guys. Sounds like it's going to be Trey Lance starting. I believe Jimmy G's out for a few weeks with that calf strain. Cardinals coming off a massive win against the Rams last week by a score of 37-20. Just dusted them up. Kyler Murray's looking like an MVP caliber quarterback this season. The addition of A.J. Green has been huge. J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones is back and healthy. That defense has been nasty for him so far this season. And I think they're just going to be too much for the 49ers to handle. Obviously, Trey Lance going to be starting here. I think it's just going to be a little bit overwhelming against that pass rush of the Cardinals for him. I expect a little bit of a rough day for the 49ers, so I'm going to go 30-21 for the Cardinals in that game to stay undefeated. Then we got the Giants versus the Cowboys, the last Sunday afternoon game. Divisional matchup. Giants coming off a huge victory last week against the Saints in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome there. Cowboys have been scoring at a high clip all year so far. They had the chance to be 4-0 if they had a little bit better luck against Tampa Bay in week 1. They had an opportunity to win that game. Unfortunately, Tom Brady stole it from underneath them last minute with that field goal drive there. But I've liked what I've seen from the Cowboys on both sides of the ball this year so far. They're getting a lot of turnovers on defense. Trevon Diggs is looking like an absolute stud of a cornerback. Dak Prescott looks phenomenal being back off of his injury. Zeke is looking in the best shape of his career, or at least in the last few years for sure. Tony Pollard's been solid. That run game just in a whole has been nasty for Dallas. And obviously it helps having their offensive line fully healthy. So I'm still going to go Dallas in a high-scoring affair here, you guys. I'm going to take Dallas Cowboys 35-28 over the Giants. Then we got our Sunday night matchup. This will be an absolute banger, you guys, with the Bills and the Chiefs. I expect this one to be a high-scoring affair. Obviously, the Bills have not allowed a lot of points in the last few weeks, having 2 shutouts in the last 3 weeks against their opponents. So I think they're going to be getting some points scored on them, to say the least. I think Patrick Mahomes and that offense is going to be rolling pretty hot. They know they're going to have to put up points to be able to win, obviously, because their defense is in shambles right now. Just pretty much anyone's been able to score a lot of points. You can pretty much guarantee you can almost put 30 points up against this Kansas City defense right now. And the way that Josh Allen and the Bills offense is running, I expect them to be able to put up as many points as they like pretty well. I do think it's going to be a close game, but I do think the Bills are going to be able to take this one in a high-scoring affair. Final score 42-35 for the Buffalo Bills. Then the last game of the week, you guys, we got a Monday nighter with the Colts and the Ravens. Now, this is a huge game for the Colts. This is, not their season fully on the line, but pretty close. I believe they're 1-3 on the season right now. Last thing they want to do is fall to 1-4. Ravens want to, keep their win streak going here, try and stay in the top of their division. So I expect a pretty nice matchup here. I just think that the Colts are going to be outmatched by that Ravens defense. I think that Ravens defense is just going to create too much havoc in the backfield there, and I don't think Carson Wentz is going to have enough time to be able to make the plays that he needs to out of the pocket there. And I just don't trust Carson Wentz's game, to be honest with you guys, to be able to seal the deal and go get a victory out on the road against the Ravens. He's been hit and miss, for quite a few years now. And Lamar Jackson looks a lot better this season with the passing game. He should have even way more yards and touchdowns. There's been quite a few drops so far by Hollywood Brown that were touchdowns that were dropped, unfortunately. So I've liked what I've seen from Lamar. I thought his passing game's much improved so far this season. Obviously, he's an absolute threat at the run game as well. And I just think they're going to be able to outmatch the Colts team. So I think that final score will be 28-17 for the Ravens, you guys. And that wraps up NFL Week 5. Like I said, overall, we're at a 37-24 record through 4 weeks, you guys. So not too shabby. 13 games above 500. Went 10-6 last week, +4 in that department. Would love to get your guys' opinion in the comment section down below, man. Who do you think is going to be able to take the victory in these games coming up this week / weekend here? Would love to get your guys' opinion in the comment section down below. Once again, you guys, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and every video on my channel. It means a lot to me, man. Please go ahead and like this video if you like sporting content like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. Once again, you guys, I appreciate you taking the time, and this is Nizzy with Nizzy Sports Chat.